Hi, Michael, the Mercedes guy here, and showing you how to make life a little easier when it comes to these cars. I've already done the Euro transformation on the passenger side, and now I'm going to do it on the driver's side. It's pretty much identical. It's just a right and left difference. So first we're going to pull off this headlight door. Normally the screw should stay with the door. You want to be real careful here. And there we go. And then, now on the passenger side, I had to pull out the washer reservoir to get access to the nut for the amber. On the driver's side, it's right there. You can get right to it. It's a nut right here. It's a big nylon thumb nut. And when you put these back together, you always want to put a little bit of oil on the stud. And in fact, sometimes the nut has shrunk so much that you want to actually run a tap through that nut. And this slides forward and then off. The reason it slides forward is this little plate here goes over this lip. So you can't pull it out straight out. You have to slide it forward and then it'll come out. And then this light, you just snap it to have it come loose. And we're going to be using different bulb assembly here because this thing's already coming apart. So I'm going to replace that in the process. Okay, now to get to the bottom screws on the headlight frame, you need to remove this panel. Normally it's an 8mm headed sheet metal screw. Okay, the 3/8 drive socket worked great for this upper one, but these wires and the air conditioning line are in the way, so I've changed out to a 1/4 drive because I can mash that down in there. There we go. And then the panel just pulls inward. As you can see, there's these little rubber bumps that go into these two holes. Okay, now we're ready to remove the headlight assembly. And it's handy to have a really long Phillips for these bottom ones. Now do note that because the flanges for the screw holes on the Euro frame are much thicker, so these screws will need to replace with longer screws. So hopefully you have a screw selection. Now these connectors can be on pretty hard, so I got sliding a screwdriver in here. But do note, anytime you're doing anything electrical, you disconnect the negative cable of the battery, just to avoid any problem. Be gentle so you don't break anything. Okay, we're going to be replacing that assembly. Okay, Michael here. This is our replacement Euro light. And as you can see, it's only a 2-wire to the bulb. and we want to retain the turn signal filament. So we require 3 wires to the bulb. Now on the original one you can see somebody tried gluing it together, and that's not going to be successful. So I've pulled the frame from my parts, and as you can see it's come apart too. And almost all of these 116s have that problem. This comes out. So we're going to remove this and fix it. And the way we're going to fix it is to what's called swagging, which is where when you bend over metal to hold things together. And this plastic comes off. You want to be kind of careful. Nudge it up so you don't break it. Okay, we're going to go over to the vise. And we're going to remove this bulb. And we're going to put this in the vise. The tabs, the spring tabs, are in the slot of the vise. You don't want to do it this way. You want to do it this way. Okay, carefully put pressure on there, so that's good and tight now. Now, this plastic goes into this hole, and this is important. There's a little tab right here. That goes into this slot right here. So we're going to put that back in there. And carefully tap it. There we go. Now it's down where it's supposed to be. Almost. Let's get this part. There we go. Now that is fully down in there. And I'm going to make sure carefully. There, we got it a little bit further. Okay, now this is the tricky part. We're going to bend over this metal right here. See how I'm deforming it and bending it over? So that's in there. We're going to turn it around here since I'm right-handed. And do this again. As you notice, I'm using the head of a punch. You can't really get precise with the hammer. So use the punch like that. And there we go. And that will not come out. That's in there good.